Hello people, today I'm going to talk about 5 things I really hate about my BMW 1 Series. Well, I own the car for about 10 months right now and I really love the car, I enjoy it. I think it's a good car and I want to keep it around for a long time, as long as I can. But, as each car, this car has some flaws in it. And I'm going to talk about the 5 things I hate the most about this car. And I'm not going to talk about things that got worse over time, because this car is already 10 years old. I cannot expect from it to be as good as a new one. I know that, so I don't take those things in considering, except for one thing. But let's talk about the first thing I really hate about this car. And that is this. This car has no heat meter. I cannot see how hot my engine is. And I know it is a thing from BMW. It does it a lot. But I hate it. In the cold winter, I sometimes drive pretty short distances. And I don't know if I can floor it or not. I have no idea of the temperature of my engine. You can go through it with all these submenus and the buttons here, but it's just a big mess, and you can only see it when you're standing still. And after you find it, after searching for it for 5 minutes with thousands of submenus, and that is, not a good thing. Well, that's the first thing that really bothers me. It's not when you drive long trips, the engine is hot, and you know that it takes about 10 minutes or something, and longer when it's colder for an engine to operate properly, at least a petrol one. But it's still, a lot of cars have it, and it actually sucks that this one doesn't have it. Well, and the second thing I really hate about this car is the positioning of the cup holders. I have 2 of them, which is, a nice feature. It's pretty nice, but what's the problem with this? You can only fit small cans in here. As you can see, I change gear and my arm is right above them. And for smaller cans, it's not a problem, not at all. But when you use bigger cans or small bottles, they come in the way of your arm, and you cannot, you have to put your arm in such an awkward position like this, and it doesn't drive normally. So yeah, you can only use it for smaller cans, or when you're driving on the highway and you're cruising in 6th gear the whole time, then it's also not a problem. And also the second thing is, this one can also not store larger cans because of this. You can already see the smaller scratches I had, and probably the previous owner did. And when you close it, it hits it. So you can only store smaller cans in here, or you cannot change your gear probably. If you have a manual version of this car, it's probably less of a problem because you don't have to do this, but most of these cars are still manual, at least here in Europe. Then the third thing actually that I really hate about this car is also in the interior, but you can't see it because it's in the front, and that's the engine. I don't hate the engine specifically. I think it's a pretty good engine for what it is, but it's natural aspirated. But the thing I really hate about it is lack of torque. This car has its maximum power at 6,000 RPM and its maximum torque at 4,000 RPM, which is pretty high in the ref range. The limiter is at 6,500 RPM, so if I want to go fast, I'll always have to, get close to the limit. And if I want to overtake someone, let's say I'm driving in 4th gear and I want to overtake someone with a car with a lot of torque, when I'm doing like 50, I can still drive in 4th gear without a problem. But this one, if I really want to go fast, I have to put it in 2nd gear because this car has no torque, which is really, it's not fun. You always have to downshift, and because it's manual, it doesn't do it for you. So when you're driving like in 4th or 3rd gear, and you really have to downshift and get the RPM between the 4 and 6,000 range, or otherwise, the car will not move at all. The other thing is fuel consumption. I actually, drive pretty fast. I don't whine about that. I drive this car pretty hard, and then it consumes a lot of fuel. And also when I actually drive normally, it still consumes quite a lot of fuel for this car. It only has a 1.6 petrol engine, like a 4-cylinder. So it's not a high-powered car. It only has 115 horsepower. By the way, the torque number on this car is 150, in case I forgot to mention it a few minutes ago. But yeah, 115 horsepower, 150 newton meters of torque. Those are not big numbers. They are pretty, regular numbers actually. So the car isn't anything, special. But still, it consumes like 9 liters when with normal driving. 9 liters per 100 kilometer. I know it's not quite a lot. The high hatchbacks, the sportive ones, they consume a little bit more, but still not that much more. And even not when you consider those cars that 3 times the horsepower that my car has. So yeah, I think, and even when I drive hard, this car consumes like 12-13 liters per 100 kilometer. And I think that is, quite a lot for this car. The other thing I really, really hate, and this bothers me actually quite a lot, is the quality of the interior coating from the steering wheel and some other buttons. As you can see here, this just peels off. It's like a rubbery feeling, and it just peels off. Same goes on this side, a little bit less because I drive mostly like this. I'm going to put the light on back. And this just makes the steering wheel feel cheap. Same goes for the volume button. You cannot see it on the camera pretty good. Now you can see it a little bit. You can see it here. And also the same goes for this button, for a little storage compartment. Also you can just peel it off. I think I'm considering of doing it because it just looks terrible. And don't tell me that a brand like BMW cannot put on a coating on this car that goes longer for a few years. I mean, if you look at this interior, it still looks actually pretty damn good. And except for this, I could not tell that this car is 10 years old. But this really ruins the looks of the car. And also what I also don't like is the discoloring of these little vents here. I don't know what this is, but it doesn't look good at all. But anyways, I think just a normal coating, the steering wheel of my 20-year-old Audi looked better. And the car had 3 times the mileage of this one. And it still looked better. And I can't honk because I'm angry. But anyway, so yeah, those are actually the biggest things I hate about this car. So there are a little few more things that I don't like about this car, but they're not such a big deal. So these are 5 things that actually bothers me the most. So this is it for this video. I hope you guys like this video. I hope it helped you guys. I'm gonna also make another video about this car, which 5 things I love, which was much easier to find because I love this car. I think it's a good car. But if those things, if you were considering buying these things and these were not big drawbacks for you, so you should go for this car. I really think you should. But if these things, are really important for you, then you shouldn't take this version, because you can also get a turbocharged one or a newer version. They don't have all these problems. So yeah, this was it for today's video, and I hope you liked it. Please leave a like and subscribe. Bye.